What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the Going for Three podcast. This is episode 11, I believe. I think it's episode 11. Um, Happy New Year, by the way, to all the beautiful people out here. As always, I'm PTP, also known as Percy, and with me I have the fellas. Fellas, introduce yourselves.
What's up, man?
Uh,
All right. You got
oh,
it.
sorry.
You
I am Tony Farr, aka G. Please do not call me Gramps, even though everybody does.
What's going on, everybody? It's Hot Tex Collins, with a great new year, another year of LeBron James dominating, another year for the Lakers to win a championship, another year for the Pistons to struggle. We're coming through with shots. Coming through with the shots.
It's not even hot takes. It's hot shots.
we just started off the year crazy. Like that's what
We got to call you Hot Shots Collins this week, not hot takes.
And is there any other way to do it, PTP?
That's a point. That's a point. Hope all you guys had a good time bringing in the new year, safely or whatever, what have you. And got a lot on the dock for today, or for this week's episode. Starting off with the NFL. Now, playoff race getting hot, week 18, playoff clinching scenarios all across the board. And a lot of things could shake up. Who could be the number one seed going into it, and just who gets in general. So, we're gonna start off with the AFC's potential scenarios. You guys want to tackle this?
Yeah, I can get at it a little bit. So, as far as the divisions, most of the AFC divisions have been settled already. Cincinnati has won their division. They won it last week when they took down the Chiefs. We don't have to really address what happened during the game. It's not really important. Jamar Chase is really the only name that matters in that.
But Joe Shiesty.
I mean, Joe was nice, but let's be clear.
Joe went stupid.
Jamar Chase had 266 yards, and over 150 of those were after the catch.
Yeah,
that's our defense. That's not Joe.
Oh yeah, he gave you the work.
He gave us the work because Spags allowed it to happen.
Okay, but I'm just saying, Burrow didn't just throw for 260 yards. He threw to other people.
But I'm saying like he threw for 433, but there's context to it. It ain't like he just was slinging that motherfucker out there. He just threw it to Jamar, and Jamar made it happen. Joe's a stud. I'm not saying he ain't. I'm just saying in that game, it was more Jamar than Joe to me, personally. But
that's my dog. That's all I gotta say.
Either way, so they clinched their title. KC, we clinched our AFC West Division title as well. The Tennessee Titans also have clinched their AFC South Division title.
Mm-hmm.
And the only division that's left to basically get clinched in the AFC is the
East.
What is it? Yeah, the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills, Patriots. Those two teams are coming down as far as trying to, clinch those scenarios. I guess we'll first start off with the teams in the AFC that can clinch a playoff spot that are still fighting for that. So I guess we'll start off first with Baltimore. Baltimore clinches their playoff berth with a win, plus a Chargers loss, plus an Indiana loss, and plus a Miami loss. So they're not really in control of their own destiny at all. They have to have a lot of things happen.
They can certainly win against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's offense is fairly anemic, so they could certainly do that. The Dolphins are playing the Patriots, who are after their division title.
Bill usually has trouble playing the Dolphins.
He definitely does. He definitely does. That's true, but that certainly can happen. Chargers losing at Vegas could certainly happen as well. I mean, that the Colts, even if Carson Wentz is doo-doo, Jonathan Taylor's a monster. They're playing the Jaguars.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost like a no question that the Colts are, like, if the Colts lose, then I mean, it was just never meant to happen. them this
Yeah.
year at all.
Yeah, because the Jaguars are so bad that I don't see any way for the Colts to lose that game.
Yeah. I would just honestly, I would be shocked if I was to look up and see Trevor Lawrence throw for like 250 and 2 tubs. We hit a dub for the Jags.
Yeah.
The Dolphins game and that Chargers game could be, it really wouldn't matter if like the latter doesn't complete it with like the Colts losing, but
Mhm.
Miami in that Chargers game might get them a little bit of false hope, depending on if they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, but just to touch on what you guys said about that Jaguars game, I just wanted to look up some quick team stats on them. The Jaguars are 25th in the league as far as like allowing rushes per or allowed rush yards per game. So that definitely doesn't bode well for them against the Jonathan Taylor, who is just in the flow of things right now. He's in his bag. He's comfortable. He's in the rhythm, and they got something to play for. So,
Right.
It doesn't look good. Overall, it doesn't look good for Baltimore. Like Graham said, like I definitely think they can win against a Pittsburgh team, especially if Lamar will play. I think it's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way, but it's definitely possible. But just to have to rely on 3 other teams to lose, it's just
it's a lot of lady luck involved in that. Plus,
Yeah.
they've already been bitten by the injury bug. So even if they were to make it in, who's to say how far they really go? Like they don't have Peters.
facts.
A couple other people that I probably just can't name. Like half their roster is gone. So I mean, like really,
Peters, the running backs from earlier on that they lost with Gus, Dobbins.
think of some defenders that are out, like some more defenders in the interior, like
receivers been in and out of the lineup.
But there's really not much. It's not really much hope to have if you're a Ravens fan if they do make it in. I mean, obviously you have Lamar, so I mean, like, kind of have a little bit, but overall, it's
Sorry, Scooter. It's not y'all's year.
It'll be a decent year for them to get a decently placed draft pick and kind of address some of their issues and exactly. So I mean, it's not the end of the world. They have their quarterback. Just been by the injury bug. Some other team stepped up.
Right.
It doesn't have to be every year for every team. So we got next. We'll move on to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs. However, they clinched their division title with either a win for themselves or a New England loss, or and the less likely scenario is if both Buffalo and New England tie, then Buffalo will clinch the division. Now Buffalo plays the Jets. Yeah, so
at home,
which actually isn't as easy as people would think it is.
No, Jets are playing.
They're
better as a team. Yeah.
But still, with that being said, I will take the Bills team that has something to play for over, a Jets team that's just been competitive.
They have something to compete for, but at the same time, it's like
in Buffalo too.
This is the Bills.
In Buffalo. What do you mean? This is the Bills, though.
It's the Bills we're talking about. Like
what does that mean?
No, because like this is a team where like literally, like throughout this whole like season, more or less, they've been battling for their spot, and then there's like certain games like they just don't show up. And in cases like this, where obviously like they have something to play for, so the possibility of them, pulling it up like how they have for like a few of the last or so weeks in the season. It ain't too far off for them to like. Obviously, they're still in the playoffs, but for them to not clinch the division, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean,
I got my money on them smacking the Jets.
I mean, could the Bills shit the bed? Yeah, they have.
They have
this year.
Not in a scenario like this. This is like this is an important game against an inferior opponent. I know they've been inconsistent this year. But I just don't see that.
Well,
happening.
I would like to add they lost the Jags at home.
Weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they haven't looked like a juggernaut. They haven't really looked like a juggernaut since.
They don't have to be
impossible.
They don't have to be a juggernaut to beat the Jets. I mean, go ball, guys. We're talking about the Jets. You said we're talking about the Bills. We're talking about the Jets here.
I mean, this is the same Jets team that the week before almost beat Tom Brady and the Bucks. Like,
almost, but they didn't. Now, did they?
I mean, obviously it's Tom Brady, but still, the fact that almost even occurred.
I mean, yeah, but there's also
it puts something in
context
the
to
back
that.
of your
That
mind to
team,
where it's like
context to that though.
The
That
Bills
team's
don't got
ravaged.
Tom. The Bills ain't got a Tom Brady over there. They got a Josh Allen.
I mean, Josh Allen ain't Tom Brady, but let's not act like he's a bum.
Not a bum, but he has his moments.
Yeah, and yet he's still probably a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Was Zach Wilson a dog too? I ain't gonna say no. I'm going somewhere else.
I was literally saying the Jets don't got that, but if you try to say, listen, Zach is a young talent. You know, we'll see where his career goes, but he ain't winning on Sunday.
But plus, I feel like teams in situations like the Jets, more or less, the same way the Bills have like a lot to play for. Some teams like the Jets just like to ruin people's seasons. It's like they have no season left, so this might be it could be an unintentional dogfight just because, like, like to take somebody's division title away really doesn't do much for them if they're already in the playoffs. To say you beat the Bills going into the playoffs, you get some momentum going for next year. So,
but the Bills already smacked the shit out of the Jets already beforehand. So
they played them ready this year.
Yeah, they're in the same division, so they're going to play them twice.
Yeah.
They played them November 14th, 45-17.
Oh, good Lord. Is Zach playing?
I mean, yeah. I don't see that one happening. But I mean, if you guys have don't have anything more on the Bills, I'll move on. But yeah, they have me.
I'm good off that. Outside of the fact they don't run the ball, that's all I got.
That's fair. That's fair. They're definitely up. They've had some decent games running as of late, though. Decently, but we got Cincinnati. So Cincinnati won their division. We said before, AFC North by beating the Chiefs. They actually are still in play for the number 1 overall seed. They need a lot of help, but they're still in play. So Cincinnati will win the number 1 seed if they win their game against Cleveland, plus a Tennessee loss, plus a KC loss, plus a New England loss, or tie. Or I should say, or if they win, Tennessee loses, Kansas City loses, and Buffalo win. Which I get, yeah. So it's a lot. It's also a lot to a lot that they kind of need, and Tennessee plays the Titans. So I mean, and like we just said, Buffalo plays the Jets. But I mean, if Buffalo wins and New England loses, then that works in their favor. So it's a long shot.
Yeah. Because I was looking at it, and the second scenario seems more plausible. But I mean, let me say it seems plausible because I mean, Tennessee and Houston is like a toss-up game because if they have Derrick Henry, then the game could be like ground and pound scenario. But if Derrick isn't healthy and they want to hold him off to the playoffs, then you get a situation where like you can probably beat them, but the chances increase for like a Houston like upset.
Actually, I take what I said back. I don't like their chance anymore because you got two teams. You have two teams that are fighting for that number 1 seed. Basically, like Kansas City wants to shore up every possibility that they have to get as close to that seed as possible. So they're gonna win their game. Well, I would assume that they'll win their game.
They're playing Denver, so it's not the easiest matchup.
Not the easiest,
at least defensively. Offensively, I don't know because when their receivers don't look like receivers right now, or like
they also don't got a Jamar Chase. So I mean, defense, and they don't got a Joe. So like, I don't see. I don't know. We've been.
Or is it locked?
I'm not sure. But I'm comfortable with either one personally. One is gonna make mistakes, and one is just not gonna. It's not just gonna move the needle enough for me, or for that team, in my opinion. So it's just Drew Lock. I'll take that. I'll happily take that.
I mean, the second one seemed like it has a seemingly decent, seemingly more possible chance of happening. But I mean,
Yeah, it's tough either way though. Yeah, just because just to need Tennessee and Casey to lose is just a lot.
Yeah,
Especially like when they're both playing inferior teams, one playing one of the worst teams in the league.
yeah.
So
Like one has a potential gimme game, and then the other one is just like stacked up against the other. It just doesn't look like a type of week for them for that to
and they
occur.
right, and they're both fighting for a number one overall seed potentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a long shot for Cincinnati, but like I said, they did clinch the division, so I mean, it's definitely the season's already a success. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
So,
They're getting a home playoff game either way.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll move on to the Colts. Indiana's still trying to clinch a playoff berth, and they would do so with either if they win or they tie, or if the Chargers lose plus a Baltimore-Pittsburgh tie, or a Chargers loss plus a Pittsburgh loss plus a Miami win. So the simplest way here is just win.
Winning your
Win
in.
your game. Yeah.
Just win your game. Like, and you don't got to deal with all this math. Just win your game. Just beat the worst team in the league. Like,
Yeah, because like the Jags are horrible.
Terrible.
This is a situation where like I could look at it like how the Jets were, where at least at some points the Jets didn't look like a complete albatross of a like organization.
Right.
Jags literally the Jags only won 2 games all year,
and their organization is a mess right now.
Exactly. Like Urban Meyer is kicking their kickers, and we know what's going on over there. So that game being a loss for the Colts just shouldn't be in the stars at all. Like they need to play some young boy going out to the stadium just to really like amp themselves up. Like
double down. Waste Jonathan Taylor's season. If
they have Taylor run 30 times in this game, 20 yards on the ground.
Actually, let him try to go for the record. But actually, what is the all-time rushing record? To preface myself by saying, instead of the record, let him try to go for 2,000. He'd have to have a hell of a game.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the way you need to play. That's the way you need to play that game, because the Jaguars are 25th in the league in opposing rush yards. So he should get the ball 30 times.
Yeah. So, bro, you just gotta always give it to like the best chance you have to win the game, and Carson really ain't look like that guy to put that ball.
I mean, Carson's playing this week, right?
Carson's playing this week.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Carson ain't really. Carson ain't really been trash. It's just like it's like
sometimes he looks kind of bad. Other times he's fine. It's just
I feel like people look at him like Jimmy Garoppolo, where like whenever like the team's winning offensive, like when offense is clicking, like it's really hard to say like he's a name you bring up when the team's doing well, like the running backs and a bunch of
good season though. The problem with him is he's always going to be compared to that great Eagles season where he was an MVP candidate. Like people are always going to think that that's where he should be or where he should get back to. Maybe that's just not. Maybe it was a combination of. He's played well. I wouldn't say that he lost them particularly a lot of games. He's played well to me. He hasn't been a turnover machine. Stats are decent. He's just not the focal point, and that's okay. You have Jonathan Taylor, so you don't need him.
Yeah.
There's definitely way more big play the best playmaker pretty much from the season. Like you got that in the backfield. There's really not that much the quarterback should be asked of them. But
right. But I do anticipate going forward that Carson only improves. I think he was really damaged in Philly, so You know, honestly, like looking at this, if you just go back in time some months ago, even this is to me not a miracle, but it's spectacular to even see him playing successful football compared to where he was. He looked like a broken player. So I mean, I anticipate him just getting better with this team and with this organization. So, and Jonathan Taylor's young as well. So,
I say plus if you think about it, even like if like I said like he's gonna get better. I mean, receiving wise, I mean they have Michael Pittman,
yeah, they do.
receiver Pascal, the other name that I'm trying to think of. T.Y. Hilton has like a few more seasons left, I think. Like
maybe.
Yeah, like Lord willing, you know, because T.Y. be having them injury bugs too. But I mean, the team has a decently bright future if all like evolves to where it should be.
Yeah, no, it was so Ty. That's such a weird thing with Ty because it's like with Andrew, he was cold, and then Philip came, and they kind of got together, and then it seems like it's only gotten worse. Like I don't really I know he's been injured, but like it still hasn't really come together from those like elite seasons that he had.
Yeah, it's like granted, it's like a scheme thing. I feel like when it comes to him, and then just the fact that like all the injuries eventually like take tolls. But,
yeah. Well, Indiana Colts, they control their own destiny.
Yep, when you're in,
make it happen. Exactly. Let's see, the Kansas City Chiefs, my hometown team. Kansas City is still in play to clinch the number 1 overall seed, although they made it a lot harder with their loss to the Bengals. They will clinch the number 1 overall seed if they win and Tennessee loses or ties.
Is he playing who?
So they play Denver on Saturday. It's tough. It doesn't look like it's definitely not in their favor. So you know,
I'm gonna say like defensively, the Broncos could probably get them a hard time.
shit, I doubt it, to be honest.
And there is a chance Derrick Henry's back this week.
Yeah, but I don't think so, honestly.
I don't think so either, but there's a chance.
I mean, he hasn't played in like 3 months. I mean,
they say he's supposed to return to practice tomorrow or Thursday at the latest.
I mean, if he's been out for like 3 or 4 months already, then I mean, the chances are kind of high.
Why do you think that? I was saying he's got a rehab. He's gonna have to get back. Like he's got to get some practice in. Yeah. I'd assume, and if it's against the Titans, if they don't want him to play against the Titans, like in my mind, give him an extra week. Really focus on how we're gonna go against our playoff matchup and stuff like that, things of that nature. I just don't see the reason to bring him out against the Titans or the Texans, excuse me. Unless I guess maybe if they just really want him to get some tick, but that's such a risky thing to do against such like an inferior team. Like, what if he gets hurt again?
You know what I mean, if anything, I feel like if he does play, they'll probably just give him like 1 or 2 carries, see how he's moving, and then bench him just to see. But if he starts rolling, then I mean,
if he's out there, they're gonna give. I imagine they give him. Yeah. They're not. If he's gonna play, he's gonna play. But I don't think he necessarily should. But yeah. I mean, I see the logic behind it, although I don't necessarily agree. And it hasn't been guaranteed that he is going to play.
There's some logic because they're playing for the number 1 seed. They need to win. Denver's not like they're not a great team, but they're not a pushover either. And Tennessee is sketchy at times. They need to win to get the spot because then they can have an extra week off. So
it builds more time to get Henry back.
The Texans out Derrick Henry. I don't think they're like one of the worst teams in the league. You're 11.
The Texans have not been terrible lately. Let's not cap.
You are with your record.
I understand they're a bad team, but again, of late they haven't played like a bottom of the league team. They've played respectable football.
I mean, like I said earlier, though, like literally the teams that literally have these low records, they have nothing to lose from like win or loss, more or less in their
They
case.
also have
So
nothing to, and they also have nothing to gain. Like, I get you
yeah,
trying.
yeah,
I get the whole season spoiling thing, but that doesn't work every team. Like, especially like a team like the Texans who really don't have an identity, don't have a future. Like I thought that happens when like season stuff like that. When you have an identity, you have like an organizational direction. Like they don't have any of that to me. And yes, they beat the Chargers, a banged up Chargers team. I think that was as close to that as what you're talking about is going to get. I don't really see them beating the Titans. I know I was making jokes about it before we started potting, like Titans are in, but I really don't. They can't, if the Titans can't beat the Texans, not their good. What's his name? Deontay Foreman.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's played well.
he
So
has.
like,
He has.
right, beat the Texans. I mean, yes, Derrick Henry is your most valuable player, best player, but it's next man up, 22 other guys that to be able to get it done. You know,
Yeah. Mm.
all that to say though, at the end of the day, I don't believe it, but I hope it happens. I don't believe it, but I hope KC can get that number one seed. But um, the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, are also still fighting for a playoff spot or berth, and they clinched their playoff berth with a win or a tie, an Indiana loss, or Indiana loss and a Pittsburgh loss or tie. So once again,
Mm.
or tie, and an Indiana loss. But this one, yeah, they're also one of those teams that control their destiny to go out and win the game.
That would be an interesting parallel of like the Colts and the Raiders win their game. Like, I wonder what they do from there, or is it like just like pretty much first to do it type thing?
Now, obviously, the Raiders have they have a hard game because they're playing the Chargers, and the Chargers also clinched their playoff berth with a win. So
Yeah.
they're playing each other for a playoff berth. They both have something to play for. So
Real question is, I mean, because it's also a weird thing with Derek Carr. Like, he's also like a quarterback where he's not exceptionally bad, but he's not like exceptionally great either.
I mean, he's above average to me. He's probably like 12,
Uh,
11 or 12. Any given Sunday, Derek Carr can look like the best quarterback in the game.
yeah.
But that's also, but Justin Herbert can also do the same thing.
Yeah.
It really just, it's going to be an interesting game. I don't know who's going to win. I'm not really pulling one way or the other. I don't know.
I mean, me personally, I probably want to see the Chargers, but I mean, just the fact that the Raiders are still even competing for a spot after all the like weird
Exactly.
stuff they've been going through this season is just a testament to how good. Like, I'm mainly just saying how good Derek Carr is because I mean, like,
He's been great.
He's been through a lot. Like, I don't think there's ever been a season that passes like since he's been with the Raiders where it's either like they haven't questioned him or something around his team has been questionable. Yeah. He just plays like.
Yeah. No, I mean the touchdown to interception ratio hasn't been great, but like the yards are there, and they're winning games. So I mean, hey, if you're winning games, don't matter how ugly or pretty it looks, especially in football. You win.
Yeah.
So,
like Jameis Winston said, man, hey, the whole goal is to eat a W. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not eating W's, then you eating L's. That's all it is.
I want to eat a W today.
Eat a W.
So yeah, Vegas Raiders and Los Angeles Chargers are linked. They both get in if they win their game. Like I said, the Raiders have a bit of other scenarios that they can get in with the tie or Indiana loss plus Pittsburgh loss. The Chargers' only scenario is win or tie, and they get in. That's it. So
yep,
quick and sweet. The New England Patriots are also still in the running for the AFC number one seed, apparently. So yeah, they can get their number one seed if they win, and if Buffalo loses or ties, and KC loses, and Tennessee loses. Not very likely, but they still are in the running for a number one overall seed. And they also clinched their division, AFC East, with a win and a Buffalo loss or tie, and or if they tie and Buffalo loses. So basically, yeah, they would just need in all scenarios they would need Buffalo to lose, basically.
Pretty much.
So yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, shout out to Bill because the fact that they're competing for this number one seed in the first place is
that is very true.
Yeah.
Mac Jones at the helm. I mean, Mac Jones isn't a bum, but I mean,
he's been. I don't want to say he's been exposed because he's a rookie, but he's been adjusted to these last couple of weeks. He's struggled a little bit.
They still, but it's also what's around him too. He still does not have. They spent a lot of money on.
They don't have for sure number ones over there.
They spent a lot of money.
I mean, I would say Myers is pretty solid. Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like because I started to look at this more or less when I was looking at like statistics for like how their tight ends have like in outside of Hunter Henry. Like I don't think anybody would have been like opposed to like them not paying Jonnu Smith because he hasn't done a single thing this entire season. The money they gave Jonnu could have definitely went to getting. I wouldn't say they would have got like probably a game changing receiver, but you would have got the target to pair is to like make things shake. But the fact that they have two tight ends and only one of them is actually serviceable and they're both getting paid like dumb bread, it's I don't know how they're pulling it off, but it's miraculous. Their run game has actually been brighter spot of it, more or less, I would assume. So
yeah, I mean, and yeah, the Jonnu is definitely a hindsight thing. I mean, I liked the signing when they got him. You know,
like he's not a bad tight end. He just doesn't fit what they do, and it just because it was like times where Hunter wasn't even playing, and Jonnu just really wasn't involved enough. And they had a rookie quarterback, so he's not going to get the looks that he did in Tennessee. But it seems like a waste of bread if that was the equivalent, or if that was like the downside to him even being here.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at like a lot of the stats, and I haven't watched a ton of Patriots games, but I mean, isn't that got to be some of that just on, just the scheme, like them scheming or them not scheming him, them not prioritizing getting him open. You know what I mean? Like how much of it is on Jonnu Smith?
It's a lot of things that play weight, or that play a factor in it. As far as I've seen games where like he's gotten like 6 targets and like either it just doesn't get to him or like he just might not make the play because like I said, Jonnu's not a bum. Just for that team that eventually ends up running the ball 9 times out of 10 to like kind of close the game down. Do you really need a like hard after catch tight end? You got like a Hunter Henry, which when healthy is pretty much like a possession guy. Like he's not a yak guy, but he's a possession guy, which is kind of it works out in that scheme because most of the tight ends just need to catch the ball. If he can get yards after the catch, it's fine, but they don't really need that.
Well, you know, Bill don't like receivers. let's call it what it is. He don't like receivers. He don't never draft them. He don't really go out and get them. Like they only had Antonio Brown because Tom Brady, literally had a touchdown as one game.
Receiving history, like this is a team that got Chris Hogan paid, and I think before Chris Hogan even got there, he started like a total of 4 games maybe before he got to New England. Or the NFL.
Like their best. I mean, they had Randy, but other than that, their best receivers are guys that just surpass expectations. With Julian Edelman, Wes Welker,
Danny Amendola's, the Philip Dorsett's. Like they just get random people to catch the ball and they just fit.
I mean, Philip is cool. I ain't going.
Philip ain't up there with like some dogs.
He ain't Russell. I'm talking about like their guys. You know, Julian Wes's, the potential, the Pro Bowlers / potential Hall of Famer guys that they had.
True. Yeah.
But I mean, he's probably gonna have to do that. You know, eventually, man, you're gonna have to go get you some receivers.
Yeah.
Draft
this year, but I
somebody.
ain't gonna lie. This year they need to. They don't draft somebody
They
this
at,
year. I mean, because like the last time they drafted a receiver that I can remember in recent years was Kyrie, and I
and that
can't
didn't
really.
work. That was a bad pick
Yeah,
though.
yeah. It's like I don't really know if it. Damn, I play GTA. Let's pull out the car, but yeah. But I say like Kyrie might have been like a miss. Like he might be a scheme thing too. I don't know. He came when Jacoby Myers decided to be that guy. But, yeah. Jonathan Smith pickup still low key didn't make sense when they did it. Honestly, to me at least.
And I think that they, although they're not the same as like a Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, that's something that they had success with running those two tight ends.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking that they kind of want to try to get back to that. But
Who knows? It could just be first year like discrepancies or first year pickups as far as they might not have known what Janu like how his route running was specifically like once you get him on your team compared to seeing him for somebody else's team. I mean, this year could just be like okay, like we getting used to him. Next year we put dudes in the blender because two tight ends lined up on either side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll happen because I mean,
oof, weesh. I'm looking at oh boy, yeah. And N'Keal Harry was a bad pick. There's really no way around it.
and he was so good, dude. Like he was good.
But you got Debo Samuel on the board, AJ Brown on the board. I mean, as much as I get on his head, he's been better than N'Keal. McCole Hardman, Deontay Johnson, Scary Terry.
Ooh, okay. I got it. When you line it, it's like, but yeah, like, I mean, at the time, it's like when you line the picks up. I mean, N'Keal Harry was
Hunter
seen as a
Renfro.
he was seen as a decently touted project at the time of the draft. Of course, now afterwards, looking back at the situation, he might not have been the project that they should have invested in. But at the time, he had potential to be good. He had potential to be something.
I mean, yeah, but like this is hindsight that we're talking about. But I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
you got guys that I think would probably have been better just off rip, just going straight into the league, not projects. Like they can get right down
that's the
to
only
it.
thing.
So
Like a lot of them guys like that you named, like they just came in off
DK Metcalf.
they just came in off rip and just
Yeah.
like punched defenses in the mouth.
Yeah,
N'Keal
Paris
is
Campbell, Arcega Whiteside.
yeah, like a lot of them guys like just came in and like just made plays. Like
Yeah, I mean the DK thing, I never understood why he went so low. Honestly, I just didn't understand that. But
I mean, him and Brown are like interesting, like
yeah,
scenarios as to why they go that low.
but yeah, I mean, New England's like they'll be interesting. They're going to be in the playoffs. They have a chance to get the seed, and Bill. It'll be interesting to see what Bill does come playoff time, especially with some of the struggles that Mac Jones has had, albeit if it's due to personnel or just personal struggling. So we'll see. Pittsburgh is also still in play. Pittsburgh will clinch a playoff berth if they win and Indiana loses, plus a Vegas and Charger game that does not end in a tie. So they need Indiana to lose, and they need to win, and they don't need a tie. And it's just that they play Baltimore on Sunday. Likely without Lamar Jackson, but it's still a chance that he plays. But we'll see. And what will likely be Ben's last tenure with the Steelers, so it'll be interesting to see. I would like for him to get to the playoffs if it's going to be his last year, but I doubt Indiana loses. Just gonna try to get through these a little quicker. Tennessee clinches the AFC's number one seed if they win, point blank period. So if they win, they get the number one seed. Or if they tie and Kansas City loses, or if Kansas City loses, Cincinnati loses, and New England loses, or ties, and or if KC loses, Cincinnati loses, or a tie plus Buffalo win, which is a lot more difficult. End of the day,
that made my head hurt, but okay.
Yeah, right. But end of the day, beat the Texans. and you're the number 1 overall seed. You know, the implications of that, obviously, with if Derrick Henry's going to play or if he's not going to play. I personally don't think they need him to beat the Texans, but we will see what they decide to do with him. He returns to practice this week, so we'll see. Moving on to the NFC, the Green Bay Packers have clinched their NFC North Division title, number 1 overall seed. The Dallas Cowboys have clinched their NFC East Division title. The Bucks have clinched their NFC South Division title. Cardinals have a playoff berth. Rams have a playoff berth, and Philly has a playoff berth. These are all things that have already happened. As far as the Cardinals, we'll start with them first. They can clinch their NFC West Division title with a win plus a Rams loss. And then, obviously, vice versa, the Rams can also clinch their division if they win or tie, or if Arizona loses. So, actually, the Rams control their destiny fully. If they win, then they win their division. If Arizona wins, they need the Rams to lose to have a shot at it.
Real quick, between those two, though, which one do you think has a higher chance of losing that day? If you had
the Cardinals,
Rams.
The Cardinals play Seattle.
Cardinals play Seattle at home, and the Rams play San Francisco at home. But 49ers have been playing well. The Rams have not been playing that well.
I mean, even if the Rams were playing well, I mean, San Francisco is fighting for a playoff spot, so it means something.
Yeah.
And Seattle's kind of a mess right now, honestly.
Although, I mean, Rashad Penny has been a revelation for them. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Penny's been solid. After seeing what he did to my guys the week before. Yeah, Penny needed to get re-signed if they want to have any surefire.
Sure. Yeah, they should keep a backup. I think they should keep him as the starter.
Because Carson's still there, isn't he?
Yes.
Right this second he is.
I mean, that's the reason why I said backup, because
they could very well cut whatever direction they go. They could easily cut Carson. Just go with Penny. Keep DJ Dallas or whatever, as a backup. You could draft somebody later because they do that. Sure.
A lot.
Yeah, but they got some issues they probably need to address over that.
I mean, I think if they could cut Carson and go with, and they still have Penny, they still have DJ Dallas, they still have Travis Homer. They could go with that.
Yeah.
Or if they let somebody else go, they could theoretically keep Alex Collins around too if they wanted to. I mean, it would be.
I doubt that.
I said, they've got all these guys. They could pick and choose who they want to keep, but they should go forward with Penny as their guy.
Alex Collins is
he's all right. Come on now, he's all right.
He's a washing machine at this point.
Hey, I mean, y'all do share the same last name. I thought you would have had some gas for him. I
don't know that, brother. All respect to him, but hey, man, listen, man ain't no kin of mine. Hey, but he's just. I've never been a huge fan of his to begin with. I mean, he had a good year in Baltimore, and then I believe he had a pretty bad injury. I know he's trying to get back to it, but I just don't see it. I would definitely keep Carson over thinking about keeping Alex Collins, and also Carson's contract isn't terrible, so they might consider keeping him depending on how he comes back. The injury was kind of alarming. There was neck injuries and stuff. It's not.
It's likely. I think from what I've read, it's likely never to truly heal.
Yeah.
So it's like a Shazier thing where he's gonna have to pack it up.
I think he'd heal enough for him to play, but he is not going to be a number one majority of the carries back 16 games a year because he hasn't been that yet.
Yeah. So
that's
not in the cards for him. But I mean, I think he can still be effective, especially if he's going to be they're gonna use like a committee between him and Penny, I think it could be good for them if he can stay healthy. I mean, but shit.
Penny is the bulkier of the two, so I mean,
Yeah.
he built like a cow, like a bell cow. So
I mean, I don't. They could certainly keep Carson around, play him, limited snaps, use him as a third down back because he can certainly catch the ball. So
Yeah,
you could
catch,
flip the roles and then not. You still use him. He can still be an effective player. Keep the snap count down. Play to his strengths. Third and short. Catch the ball. That kind of thing. You can still do that. He's just not the number one anymore. Period.
No.
Even
Yeah,
with this, even without this neck injury, I wouldn't call him the number one because he's not reliable. What do they say? The best of ability is availability, and he ain't that. He's not. He didn't have it.
Yeah.
But that was a tangent. So
yeah.
The Saints, weirdly enough, are also still in play, and they actually have a decent shot of getting into the playoffs. They have to beat the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday, and they need San Francisco to lose. And San Francisco playing the Rams. It's not a cakewalk. Although Rams have struggled a little bit, they are still the Rams. So, that'd be interesting to see New Orleans get in.
Honestly, from a defensive perspective, they have a really high chance of winning this game.
Yeah, they do.
Just the fact that they could stop the Falcons increases their chances of winning this game.
Yeah. Who's the quarterback for the Saints right now?
It'd be Taysom Hill.
Taysom.
Yeah, Taysom played this past week.
Okay.
I thought it was
the Saints and the Saints and Falcons first game they played the 7th of November. Pretty close game. Falcons won 27-25. So, I mean, it's a divisional game, so I expect it to be close.
It should be a tough game.
But I can definitely see the Saints winning the game though, which would just be odd. I feel like they haven't been good enough to get to the playoffs, but here we are. So.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, they haven't been like the best looking team. I mean, obviously, even like looking at like Kamara, like I don't know what they've been doing this year. Like, it just looks hella weird. I mean, kind of like how it would be for the Raiders. I mean, you drag yourself out of a hole and somehow you randomly end up in the playoffs. I mean, yeah, you ain't gonna complain about it. That's still a playoff berth on your record. It's better than a losing season, but.
X. Yeah. Let's see. And then I guess the last NFC team would be the San Francisco 49ers. They clinch a playoff berth with a win, or if they tie, or if if New Orleans loses. So
plus it's looking way easier for the Niners to make a playoff berth than the Saints.
Yeah.
Though.
Well, yeah, pretty simple. They just win your game. Although I mean they play a hard opponent, but you win your in.
Yeah, and plus, like the Rams already clinched, so I mean, who knows? Certain guys might not even play that game, honestly.
Yeah,
Niners might have that week.
But yeah, that does it for all the possible playoff scenarios. They'll be decided this upcoming week of 18 of the NFL season. So definitely looking forward to that, seeing everything, and go Chiefs.
Knew was throwing that in there.
Well, of course, I'm nothing.
That's his guy.
But consistent. I got to.
Yeah.
Speaking of going, we have another topic at hand involving just players going off the field, just leaving the game entirely. Antonio Brown, as most people know at this point, in the middle of the Jets game, they were down by 2 touchdowns and just took off all his gear, threw it to the fans as souvenirs, and just left in the middle of the play. Now, Bruce Arians said he isn't a Buck anymore, yet he's still contractually a part of the team. But as far as like being with the team, I'm sure he's not there anymore.
Why haven't they cut him? That would be my question.
It's an interesting situation, more or less, because even they probably don't think about cutting him because I don't think he's making that much bread. Honestly, I don't think they paid him at all because of the incentives and stuff. So. I mean, I don't really know what to think at this point regarding because as a receiver, everybody knows how talented he is. Like he's very talented. Route running, catches the ball really well, but as far as like what his mental state is, it's hard to see another team picking him up for one, and then two, just in general, I think he's done. Probably.
He's got too many.
No,
There's too many. There's too many outside things as well on his plate. We've had this discussion, but let's not just us. I'm not just talking about us.
Mhm.
Generally in the media, there's going to be those that are going to cry that they're going to pull and plant the CTE flag. Let's not go there.
I mean, even if it is a thing, that doesn't matter. His actions are his actions.
I don't. I'm not going to pull that card because I don't think that's the problem. Now, obviously, as somebody who deals with mental health shit myself, and I've seen it, and I raised it. I think he might have borderline personality disorder. I think he's probably bipolar because those quick mood swings, and that, though, even if it's not necessarily violent, at times it has been, but it doesn't have to be. But those drastic snap mood swings, if he ain't on something, and I don't think he is necessarily, or at least give it, put this scenario in a vacuum. I don't think he was on anything. That's like bipolar behavior to me. There's something wrong upstairs.
I hear you, but we don't want to speculate too much.
No,
about we don't know. So
there's a situation. So this is all just outside looking perspective.
It's speculation, but there's something. I think he has a mental issue that he needs help with. I'm not going to pinpoint.
That's fair. I mean, Brady knows more about it than us, and it seemed like he certainly alluded to something going on or something deeper.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, it's up to you to get the help that you need. And this isn't the first issue with him. This isn't the first situation like this. This is probably the most inflammatory, I guess, but it's not the first time, not the first situation. So, it's not the first time that negative attention like this has been put on him and that he's brought to him and his team. It's just that at this point, it seems like it's like PDB said, it's probably done. I think he's done. It seemed pretty clear that he just quit. He quit the NFL. I mean, he did.
Yeah. And like you said, like it is like him as a man, it's still very much on him to do what he has to do, and as NFL teams as a whole, it's like I wouldn't compare it completely to that, but kind of like how like Josh Gordon has been over the past few years, where it's like he gets back in, he makes some mistakes, he's banished, nobody wants to deal with him, he comes back again, another opportunity. Even then, he had at one point an opportunity to be with Tom Brady, and that didn't work out. So,
but I don't. They're the same, but I don't want to necessarily compare them just because.
There's strictly Gordon is done out of just like
that's strictly just on himself. Like that's strictly
like it's naivety on the part of like Gordon as far as like neglecting.
Well, I mean, I was thinking more of an addiction thing, or just a problem with like certain NFL policies. To be quite frank, but that's a different conversation. Whereas Antonio Brown is just like it's
the league. It's the league and the people who run the teams in the league. I don't know what he has a problem with at this point.
I'm not sure. And there's been some stories going around, or some theories going around that the Bucks were trying to basically keep him from getting his bonus of I think targets and catches and things of that nature. But I mean, the previous two
game with touchdowns or something. I don't know.
Yeah, at the time that he left in that third quarter game, in 2 weeks he had 20 targets, and that second game wasn't even over yet. He was leading I'm pretty sure he was leading the team in targets at the time because he had 5, and I think
5 targets,
and he had 3 catches, and I think the leading receiver of the game ended with 6. So it's like he would have been a focal point for them to come back, which they did ultimately come back and win. So it just seemed very odd to me that people were pulling that card when the evidence of that is just right in front of your face. That's just not true. Like Tom, to the point, he made it almost looked like he made an egregious effort to get him his bonus, at least in the week prior. Like 15 targets. Like, bro,
even then they said last season, I think it was like the last game of that season before.
He got him his bonus again. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, like Brady literally like went ridiculously hard trying to like get him that ball. So from a player's perspective, everybody can blatantly see that like Brady don't got a problem with getting his guys paid. Like
facts.
Most of the receivers in New England probably wouldn't be in the league still if it wasn't for like a few good seasons as being Brady's target that eventually leads to you getting your paycheck. But
I mean, that's another thing. If that was the real reason here, it's such a lack of perspective decision. Like you got to understand, like you were finna be the focal point. Mike Evans is hobbled. Godwin's hurt. Correct. Yeah. So it's like, Gronk's been ineffective and he's just older. Like you were finna be the focal point for this team with championship aspirations. In a lot of ways, this is like you were gonna have more responsibility on a bigger team than you had in your prime. Like this team has Super Bowl aspirations. Yeah, it's just like this was your time, and it's almost like it was such a self-sabotage. I did not understand it, but I mean that seems to be what he's been doing the last couple of years is self-sabotaging himself. So I mean I don't know, man. He put the Bucks and Tom Brady in a very bad spot. His mental health aside, I mean, obviously I wish he gets help and if there's something going on, hope he gets help. As far as the football side of it, they might be down bad as far as receiving weapons right now.
Man, we're just to wrap this up. One like him getting the help he needs obviously is like the bigger picture here. Obviously, like football wise, everybody knows his talent level and his role would have been very, very very, very important because of what their situation is. But if he gets another shot again, then I mean, I doubt it. But if he gets another shot,
I will.
Hopefully, it's after like 4 years at least of him just not doing anything.
He's already old now, though. He's older now. In 4 years, he'll be 37. There's no way.
If he's like 34 or something like that, it might be.
There's no way I'm bringing a 37-year-old Antonio Brown because he doesn't have the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? So it's like 37-year-olds have a hard enough time getting a job in the NFL as it is. I'm not gonna bring in the guy who's been a distraction his whole career.
He got to be a coach or something.
Man. So
senior coach, I don't know.
I mean, Larry don't even got a job.
And Larry didn't even get cut yet. Like he just not.
He's free agent. Yeah, he's a free agent. Oh, wow. Yeah, and he didn't get brought back. I don't think by the Cardinals. So he's 38, about that same age, and he's a consummate professional. He's a better overall receiver. Was a better overall receiver, in my opinion, than Antonio Brown. Although that certainly can be argued because Antonio Brown, for a stretch of period of time, was just
unguardable,
a terror. But I think he's done. That's basically what I'm saying.
He's done.
Yeah. I think it's unanimous there. But all right. So next we got the college football bowl games. We had the 4 games over the last week. One game went as expected, and the other game kind of just seemed like a straight dismantlement.
Which one was that one? Which one are you talking
about? I would say the Michigan Georgia game was like a complete dismantlement. But the Cincinnati game, I feel like everybody kind of had like that idea that Bama was going to just do Bama things. But no one expected Michigan to get done like how they just got did in that bowl game. At least me personally, I didn't expect it.
No, I didn't. Georgia's offense torched you. I still expected something a little less of a score just because of the defenses. But I mean, let's just be honest. Really, big game. Y'all just it just looked like y'all didn't really show up. They punched you in the mouth at the beginning of the game, and they didn't let up. And the guys didn't really have anything for it.
I said, plus looking because I was looking down the rosters that that Georgia team had before when they got Dalvin Cook's brother in his senior year, that's already offensively even though he ain't the biggest part of that offense, but he is still a big part of it. Quarterback, the quarterback was a transfer, right? He was a transfer. But it's there's a lot of things that went into just outside of the fact that Georgia had been competing, that school just breeds toughness no matter what sport it is at this point, I'm assuming. But
yeah,
it was Michigan's first time in a while being in a position of that magnitude, so can't be too mad at them because we just haven't been there since this format really has been introduced. So I don't think it'll be their last one, but that's enough of them. I'm just enough of that. I can go on now for a day and a half. But so the game set, national championship, Alabama versus Georgia. What are you guys thinking is the outcome? Just being a highly touted rematch that people either wanted to see or just kind of already had it set on their dock, it was gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was likely to happen the whole time. If they avoided each other, it was likely to happen. We know it was. So
the short. You won't. All right. I'll just give you the short and sweet of it. Georgia wins the rematch.
I doubt it. Doubt it fully. I think
I
that's
see that though.
30-27. Where's your score?
That defense is playing with something different. I don't know.
Good offense always beats great defense. I think that Bryce Young is that, and he's him, and I think he's going to show you. I'm of that same Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, college wise. I'm from that same type of mode, and I'm going to show you on the national championship at the biggest stage. I just showed you a couple weeks ago, and I'm gonna have to remind you. I'm like that, and I think that's what happens. I don't know the score. I have nothing, no prediction on that. But I got Alabama winning. I got Bryce. I will predict Bryce is throwing over 400 yards.
Oh no, that's not happening again.
Okay, we'll see.
I'll play it from both perspectives. Granted, like you said, Bryce Young, he has been playing like him recently. He's been playing like him, but also at the same time, that Georgia defense. When I was watching the Michigan game, they were talking about how defensively they kind of gave leeway to Alabama as far as just they tried to play everything instead of just playing how they normally played, which was just that.
Usually Alabama is able to do everything. So
yeah, but it's the way that Georgia defense was, they just play like themselves. So maybe if they play a little bit more of that brand, smack them in the mouth, rough up the receivers or whatever. If they
meaning what though? As far as scheme wise, what does that mean? Play how they play. You're not going to be able to take away. If you focus on one thing, they're just going to do something else. They can run the ball. They have great receivers. So it's you're going to get gashed one way or the other. So it's the best to play everything straight up, or play a balanced way of defending. It didn't work.
Yeah. I think more or less it will be balanced because I feel like Georgia's secondary is very stout, but obviously the bulk of their impact on the game happens on the interior. So if they're not getting to them, then it'll probably be a repeat of what it was when they were trying to figure out the seeding for it. So
he's also mobile, so
yeah,
he's just a sitting target back there either.
Yeah, so it's they're gonna have to get on Bryce for that to really. It starts with Bryce, honestly. If they started at that center point, to be all right, key in on this, up a spy or whatever, do what you got to do. You might have a chance of at least slowing them down enough for you to offensively get some points on the board. But
I was about to say
yeah.
that's also another thing. You're also going to have to score with the Bama as well.
Yeah, somebody said like I don't know if they'll
Like,
completely. I don't know if they'll completely like hold them from like scoring because like that's almost impossible. But if they can try to lower their chances of like red zone and straight up over the top dog into the end zone touchdowns, I mean, I'd have a game on your hands. But it should be a good game nonetheless. Like I don't think it'll be anything short of a.
no, I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be a good game. But I got Bryce going crazy.
Yeah. Plus more or less, it is like a kind of like a draft showcase for certain players. Like you got Will Anderson on the Alabama defense, Neil the lineman, N'Kobe Dean. I think one of their corners is going into the draft. Like there's a lot of things that can be taken from like how certain pieces of that team play. So it should be fun overall.
It should be. Should be.
All right, time to get into that basketball. At NBA, I'm about to say something so out of pocket. That's it. Oh man, but we're gonna get started with some single player topics. Kevin Porter Jr. Them Rockets, man. Now, Rockets are a weird team. At some point, they had like one of the longest streaks wins at some point during the year, and then now it's kind of coming back down to earth. But I forgot what team they were playing.
I mean, they are a bad team. It's, like
they are bad. They're still bad, but like they had a moment. They had a moment.
They had a moment, but they were like never like in the play. They went from worst team in the league to lottery for a little bit. I mean,
it was like number 1 to like 1 through 10, more or less. But I forgot who they were playing, but they had like a halftime squabble. John Lucas, more or less. Sorry, Kevin Porter threw some stuff, threw a fit, and then just left the arena. Like he just left. Christian Wood was involved as well, and he just didn't check back in. So as times went on, I seen somebody do an interview where they said that they just need to move on from him. So
say that.
I'm gonna just pose this question: like, do y'all think Kevin Porter gets cut, or it's just one of those growing pains? He's still 21. It'll pass.
I mean, I got an article right now for the Houston. What is this? The Houston Chronicle says he makes amends with the Rockets. That was 2 hours ago. So I don't. They're definitely not going to cut him. He's a young player. They don't have any discipline. They don't have a culture in Houston. So it's like, I mean, yes, Kevin should be more mature of the situation, more than likely. But I don't know. We don't know their exchange. I don't know what was said to him or what he said. Coaches ain't perfect either. Sometimes they say stuff out of pocket too. Could Kevin have handled it better? I would think so, but like I said, I don't know the situation. So, but as far as cutting him, no, he got too much talent, and players have done way worse.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, if he's just gonna leave, and being young, at least he didn't throw his jersey. At least he didn't take his jersey up and throw it into the stand. So,
if he had came back out there, just took the threw him a sleeve, just
like he didn't like it was a story only when after like he left. You know what I mean? Like I don't remember seeing like a video of him going crazy, and he just left. He just removed himself, and I guess at the time he felt that was the best course of action. And if it might have been, maybe he would have done some worse things if he didn't remove himself. So. You never know.
Do you got any thoughts on this?
One of them's getting traded.
One of who? Oh, Christian Wood and Kevin
Porter. Yeah, one of them's getting traded for sure, if not both.
They're not. Christian
one
sure.
is one of. Well, I said if not both. I'm. Would it shock me if they both were? No, but one of them, is gonna probably Christian, but somebody's getting traded for sure.
I just think that Christian has honestly more value and more. I feel like there's teams that need Christian a lot more. Like he can be a rim protector. He's a good finisher. He can shoot. Although the shooting hasn't been as good previously, but like he's a rim runner. Like he's a good player. There's a lot of teams that could use that. Like literally, like, off the top of my head, like the Hornets could use that.
Yeah.
Instead of running PJ Washington at the center, they could definitely use a Christian Wood.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, when it comes to both of them, I mean, from the time that I've seen Christian Wood, as far as how he handles certain things, he also has an attitude problem, and it's something that goes under the radar because obviously it's Christian Wood. Who cares about Christian Wood's attitude? But he has an attitude problem.
I mean, I'm not gonna say all that.
No, I mean, as far as like there's certain players where like you kind of just look at them for the play, and then there's like the LeBrons, where it's like for some reason we look at it outside of how they play on the court, like we go into their life and stuff. Like no one's going into Christian Wood's life when it comes to like him as a player. So like that's what I meant by that. But then with the Kevin Porter stuff, I mean, this was the same dude that had a conniption over a locker in Cleveland. So granted, the coach could have said something just really out of pocket, but I don't think it really takes much to set him off just because of how young he is. Like coming at him in any type of way could possibly just lead to something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wood probably is the only person that would probably have trade value enough to move him. Porter is still solid, but he's just way too young to like really have like found himself completely to just throw him out as trade bait. They're rebuilding, so. But if they made amends with him, then by all means he'll probably be there for a season or two more than before. Because if he does it again, then I mean they might just have to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
But all right, so I'm just combine the two because I mean almost have the same stature. You have Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson. Kyrie is listed to be back tomorrow. He's back for road games exclusively. And Klay potentially could make his debut for the Warriors Saturday against the Cavaliers. So, respectfully, who do you guys think has the biggest impact returning to their team at this current moment?
Kyrie.
Klay.
Kyrie is not close. Kyrie is not close.
Chris, go first as to how you can see Kyrie playing the bigger factor.
Well, one, the Warriors are already they're both teams are playing well, but the Warriors are playing better. They're top in all categories, offensively and defensively, and also like in years past, like obviously Klay is that dual threat, or two-way player. Let me correct myself. Where he's scoring and he's defending the team's best player, but like he's no longer going to do that, and we don't even know if he can do that. But even if he could, he won't be asked to. Like that's Andrew Wiggins, or that's Gary Trent Jr. Now. Those are those two guys. They're guarding the best perimeter players. That's just what that's going to be. Even going forward, like even if Klay is able to, get back, like you wouldn't even ask him to do that because you have other competent defenders, elite defenders. Honestly, at this point, Gary Trent might be one of the better perimeter defenders right now. So it's like I don't need you to do that anymore, and you're older, so I just feel like he's not going to be asked to do everything that he's done in the past. Also, quietly under the radar, Steph has gotten way better defensively. He really might, a big thing in the past was Steph lead the team in scoring, do all these other things. Klay cover for Steph, so he doesn't have to guard a Dame, a Tony Parker, a Russell Westbrook, a Chris Paul, a Derrick Rose. Like you do those things for him, so he can focus offensively, and he doesn't have to tire himself on that other end. But I just don't think that he's going to be asked to do those things anymore necessarily, especially not this season, if ever again, at least to the same level. Kyrie, on the other hand, they need Kyrie at certain points. Like James has been coming on as of late, but he's still like full on facilitator mode, and he's not. His like advanced shooting isn't that great. Like he's not shooting great from like two, and he's still relying on getting to the line, and he's still relying on bad 3-point attempts most of the time. Like they need if he's gonna be the main facilitator, they need Kyrie to be able to be that that other elite bucket getter with KD. Like we already knew that they were top heavy. This team is top heavy. That's just how it's going to be. Like yes, they have Patty Mills. He's been playing great, but like Blake, Paul Millsap, Claxton, all those other guys. I didn't put LaMarcus in that because he's been playing a little bit better than those guys in my opinion. So, but this team is just top heavy, so they need their guys to play. I mean, it looks like James is getting in good shape and getting back for the game, and maybe KD and James will be enough. But this team was put together to have those three, and in my opinion, they need those three to win. Personally,
yeah.
The way I was just saying the way the Warriors are playing, like Klay definitely helps them, but I just don't think it's just as much of a need right now. Like they can really ease him in. I feel like.
I don't trust Kyrie anymore.
As far as what?
On the court, I don't trust him anymore.
What does that mean? When he's on the court, it's never an issue. Never been an issue when he's on the court.
I don't think he's going to be consistent enough. He's not going to play enough. He's too injury prone. I don't think it's going to have as much of an impact as you think it's going to. I think Klay coming back with this team, the way this team is cooking, the way it's playing defensively, I think that just vault them over everybody else. It's a bigger impact to me than what Kyrie will be with the Nets.
Respectfully disagree.
I don't. That's fine.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I can see what you do as far as I mean health does play a factor, but at the same time, one's coming back.
And Klay hasn't played in 2 seasons, and we're talking about health. He's had two of the most devastating leg injuries in sports.
No, but I don't think I don't at first. There isn't going to be a lot asked of him, but he'll mesh in well with that, and he'll ramp his activity up to the point where he will not detract from what they're doing. Kyrie could do that.
How is he taking away from what they're doing? I mean, they play iso ball. James plays pick and roll and either drives to the lane or shoots a three. Like it's not like they're running some complex system.
I've never liked the fit. I haven't liked the fit. Even whenever the hell it is he's going to play, because he can only play road games. Can't play. He can't play in New York. So,
but what's the fit though? Like if James is going to be the facilitator,
I just don't like the way that the three of them fit. I just don't. I never did.
All three of them just seem like a mesh to you.
But I'm saying, like, what do you not like about it?
I don't like the way their games mesh. I don't. I think somebody besides Kyrie, KD, and Harden work really well. Somebody besides Kyrie, they would be a machine.
They're a machine already. When you have three elite scorers that can shoot, it's going to work. Kyrie
is not an elite scorer anymore. Mark my words. You heard it. I don't. You can laugh at me all you want.
Wait, hold on. Did y'all switch roles for the day? Like, what is going on here?
You heard what I said. Kyrie Irving is not an elite scorer anymore.
Based on what? Because last year he had his best season of his entire career. He shot 50, 40, 90 while averaging at 27 points a game. How based on what? Why is he not an elite scorer?
I don't think he is anymore.
But why?
I think age and injuries are caught up to him, and on that team, I don't think that's just not going to happen. Hey, look, okay. Well,
don't say that. Like I just have to live with your opinion.
I'm not saying you have to live with it. I'm just saying that's my opinion.
And I'm debating it. I'm not just going to sit and take it. Or we just saying things that we just we don't talk to each other about. I'm saying like you're saying he has injuries. What was his injury? He had an ankle injury last year.
He always has something. Come on.
He played 54 games last year. They only played 70.
Well, isn't that impressive?
Man.
Come on.
I'm not going to lie. It sounds like you don't like Kyrie.
I don't, but
It's fair. But I mean, like for you to say he's not going to be an elite scorer when nothing has changed for him.
I do not believe he will be again. I don't believe he will be anymore.
So
Not with that team is presently constructed and the way things have gone, and his age and his injuries and his not playing, and his, and the fact that he won't, the fact that he won't get to also won't be able to consistently play because he won't be able to play home games. He won't be able to play in Boston. He won't be able to play in California. In a vacuum right now, look at this season. It won't happen.
So you think that the ankle injury is what took him away from being an elite scorer? Because it was just last year.
He's always going to have some kind of nagging something or some reason to not play to his fullest potential. And I just think you add that up with the length of time he's been away, how well they're playing without him, the fact that he won't be able to consistently play, even with him being back. It's not going to happen this year.
How much you want to bet on it?
At least.
He said, "How much you want to bet on it?"
At least how much?
No, I'm not. At least this season. At least
it don't even got to be money.
We don't need to. We don't need to bet.
We can do like Skip and Shannon and do like some drinks or something. Like some Mountain Dew or whatever you like to drink or whatever. But I am so confident that Kyrie is.
You think okay? If
Kyrie is the most skilled point guard of all time.
What is he? I'm not even going there with you. But
he has the most. What do you mean?
Hold on.
It doesn't mean the greatest. It doesn't mean the best. But like,
at what point we had a situation like this with V, y'all gonna have this conversation. Y'all gonna have to have this conversation.
Are you saying Kyrie's gonna come back and for as inconsistently as he's going to be able to play? I'm just talking about games, number of games. I don't know what their schedule looks like, so I don't know how many games he's going to actually be able to play. But just in that vacuum, we'll use that word again.
20 at least.
Are you saying Kyrie's going to
20 plus easily? You're not going to be able to double Kyrie Irving because James and KD are on the court. So you're saying that he's not even going to be able to get his own buckets against just his man. And a lot of times the best defender's not even going to be guarding him. They're going to be guarding KD.
But you just said, well, he just had the best statistical season of his career last year, and you're more or less implying that he's going to just seamlessly jump back into this lineup, and he'll probably do it again.
The team hasn't significantly changed from last year, so it really is just like almost like he was just away for injury.
He won't even come close to 25.
So he's going to average 10, 12.
No, I'm just saying he's not going to go up above. Maybe 20, but he isn't going to get 25, 27.
20 is close to 25. It's the difference between two shots.
Okay. Well, yeah, but you were 27, something like that. No.
That's what he averaged. He averaged 27 last year, but I said 20 plus.
All right. Well, you're splitting hairs now.
That's just what you said, man. I'm just saying you came out with a hot take.
I'm saying 25, 27, that kind of bullshit. That's not going to happen. You want to bet on that? I'll be happy to. Whatever games he plays this year, if he goes 25 plus, I'll buy you the lid of your choice.
Wait, say that one more time so we can get it on air. Say it one more time.
You heard what I said? If Kyrie Irving, however many games he plays, if he averages 25 plus, I'll buy you a lid. If he doesn't, if he doesn't, you buy me one.
What's a lid?
A hat. A lid.
Okay.
Come on, man.
A team.
I just wanted to make sure we was on. I just want to make sure we was on the same page.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, a lid.
How much is what a jersey?
Lids could be like $30, bro. If you get a nice one. I mean, that's not a tiny bet.
So 25. Let me think about that.
I mean, a team hat is like what, 30 or 40?
It's about $30, depending where you buy it. That's a reasonable bet. Doesn't have to be that much. Depends on what you get. I mean, if you're, I'm assuming you're not like Tuck. You know what I mean?
I don't really have this, but
I mean, y'all could do a jersey thing as far as like the opposing players, the opposing favorite team's best player. You have to get them a jersey. So like,
God.
so if it works out for Gramps, then Chris has to buy a Tatum jersey, and vice versa. Gramps has to buy a LeBron jersey.
they get expensive.
Wait, for the other
first
one?
Of all,
I
don't want a LeBron jersey. That's for one.
Wait,
no,
not
for
the
you.
other one?
Gramps would get the LeBron jersey. You would get the Tatum jersey.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
And what? I'd have to like.
Yeah, take a pic. Y'all gotta take a picture and post it. That's
All right, I'll rock it.
That's what that.
That's not fair. I don't want to rock the Lakers jersey at all.
That's rougher for
That's
Gramps.
blasphemy.
It would hurt. It would put more at stake for Gramps than it would be for you, Chris.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
You like Tatum, so you're not saying you don't like Bron, but the Lakers jersey in general hits harder.
But back the simple notion that Kyrie Irving is not going to be an elite scorer. To me, I'm gonna get on my Stephen A. It's blasphemous. Blasphemous.
I said what I said.
You did.
You call it old age, Alzheimer's, whatever it is.
And you said what you said. And in a week or two,
I said.
In a week or two, you will say that you were wrong, and it will be like, I was like, okay, it's okay, Gramps, win, not if. Win.
I admit when I'm wrong.
He may be a lot of things off the court. On the court, he is a master.
If my take is shit, I will say my take is shit.
Now I want a Warriors and Nets finals. That's what I want. That'd be nice to see.
Okay.
But then that means Lakers would not have to win though. How I feel about that.
Lakers aren't making the finals, bro. Come on.
I'm not even listening to what you're saying, Gramps.
Come on, you got to be objective just once. You're telling me this team, the way it's playing as currently constructed, you're telling me this team's going to roll through the West and make the finals? Come on.
Well, there's really only two teams that I feel confident that are going to beat the Lakers, and they might not have to play both of them. They might knock each other out. Also, team with LeBron James, especially the way he's playing, I don't care. We'll have a chance in any series that they're in. They'll figure it out. They're not playing great. You're right.
I'm about to say so. If he's the only one playing like that, you're still going to a finals like that. If he's the only one giving you 30 plus a night potentially.
Listen, he's gonna have. If they're in the playoffs, he's gonna have a shot. If he's healthy and in the playoffs, they have a shot. Period. And that's always how it's been. I mean, so.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's showing me that that's still the case, you know. So like in the playoffs, when he'll be focused 100% of the time, giving maximum effort, like he's had to do these last couple of weeks, unfortunately, you know, if he's healthy, they have a shot. That's all I'm saying. But yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'm probably thinking Warriors myself. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, listen, that's fine. That's fine. But I mean, I also want to address that me and Gramps said the same thing and yet disagreed on the impact. We both said that Klay's not. No, I'm saying like we both said Klay won't be asked to do a lot, and yet he's gonna have more impact than a guy that's gonna be albeit half-time player. But he's still going to be asked to do more when he's out there than Klay will.
But like more or less, that's really the only difference really between that I could think about. Like, we'll just like kind of like wrap this up a little bit. But like I mean, the player that's asked to do minimal, but is playing home and road games might have a slightly better impact than a person that plays a massive role but only plays road games.
But you also got to think Klay might not even be playing. Might not play a lot of minutes because he's got He's got guys behind him. Like Kyrie is not going to have anybody behind him when he plays.
Not even all road games. Let's not. We can't assume. We have to look at the schedule. It might not even be all road games.
Excluding those three states that you.
As far as I know, those are the ones that I know of. Is Boston, I'm fairly sure. California, and obviously any other New York team.
If they play
the Knicks. Yeah. DC might be. I don't know, but so
it should be interesting to see how that bet turns out. That's kind of funny.
yeah, but if Chris loses and has to wear a Tatum jersey, it's not a punishment.
I mean, and also let's be clear. Even if I lose, it doesn't mean that you were right because he could average 23, 24. It doesn't mean wouldn't be an elite scorer. Like that take is a hot take. That is gold.
That is a scorcher right there.
That's a scorcher
with a straight face.
Crispy G take right there.
It was not a straight. It was not a straight face. I was smirking as I said it. That doesn't mean I'm capping. Doesn't mean I'm capping. But I smirked when I said it.
If anything, I'm about to figure out over the next few days, like what would be a jersey that Chris would not want to wear. I'm about to figure that out.
That's what we're doing right now.
If I lose, and I got to wear a Lakers jersey, that's blasphemous.
It would still be a LeBron James jersey. Like that's still a great jersey.
Just thought about it.
Yeah, but I don't want to wear no Laker jersey. Who's blasphemy?
I thought about it.
There's not a single player in the NBA right now that I don't like.
Just got to wear a Jaren Jackson jersey if the bet goes the other way. You got to wear a Triple J jersey if it goes the other way.
I like this.
I feel like that's pretty good if you ask me.
I got to change the points then.
Nah.
23.
Oh, look at. Come on now. Back your words. Come on.
25 is a lot of points.
Back your take.
He plays with James Harden and KD. He's going to be because he's going to be an elite scorer in points per game with two other supernova offensive talents may not fully dictate the truth. But like PTP, he's still an elite scorer. He's still an elite scorer.
I'm not that. I just want to see you wear Jared Jackson jersey.
I know you. I know you do. I think it'd be funny. I'm sure it would be. Listen, Jared Jackson. Sure, why not?
All right. Yeah, it's a verbal agreement. So at this point, y'all keep track of the.
We sticking with 25. I can't get some leeway with that.
Come on now. You got to stick me with a.
Because Graham's been a Celtics fan for as long as he has, like
my entire life.
That LeBron jersey is gonna sting. So this
but 25 is a lot of points.
That LeBron.
How many points you got? How many points you got to score to be an elite scorer?
25 plus.
So then, if you're 20, then what are you?
Borderline All-Star.
I mean, but okay.
I feel like that's how they've always done it, more or less. Like
no, you're right. I'm really just talking about circumstance and personnel. So like KD and James are out there. Yeah, fuck it. I'm standing on it. Fuck it. 25.
25.
Yeah, you're not giving me any points back anyway. So 25. Doesn't matter. 25.
Yeah. All right. Oh man, I gotta move out there after this. We look-y. It's been an eventful episode. I'm happy. This is great. But just to wrap this up, just to talk about two teams more or less. One being in a good position with like their division, and one being the potential rebuild mode. Bulls and the Blazers. Now, Rose has been playing out of his mind.
Who?
Or the Rosen?
DeMar.
What was the name that you gave him?
I think you mean
DeMarvelous
the Chosen.
Ick.
Shouts out to Bears and Beats basketball for the name. DeMarvelous the Chosen. MVP candidate.
AG, DeMar, I hear it.
DeMar, I like it. Let's go. First player in NBA history to hit back-to-back game buzzer-beating shots in like one game after the other. First player.
In two different years, by the way. That's crazy. Like he did it in 2021 and 2022. Like that man is different.
It's the MVP candidate, man. And I know, people were going to say they're going to treat it like a 1A, 1B with him and Zach, which it is. However, last year, Zach was there. Vooch was there for a little bit. They didn't make playoffs. Granted, circumstances. I love context, but that is what happened. DeMar shows up, and they're the number 1 seed in the East. And the East, honestly, in my opinion, is tougher than the West right now. So
understandable.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Bucks, you got the Heat, you got the Nets, you got the Sixers, Celtics, and Hawks who are all struggling, but don't nobody want to play them. And I think they all could beat like the Nuggets and Mavericks and all of those guys. So I'm sure I missed some teams too. You even got upstart teams like Cleveland Hornets who are playing well and in better positions than those teams. It's gonna be it's definitely tough. And to be the number 1 seed in that, and they've played some of the good teams. They beat the Nets not too long ago. So hey, they are hooping.
And more or less also like the biggest part, in my opinion, is my guy, Mr. Lonzo Ball.
He been hurt.
Do what he got to do. Well, he's hurt now, but when he was in that rotation, but he was giving dudes the sauce. So a lot of people are gonna want to bring it up because people just don't like LeVar for the most part. But when Lonzo's on that court, good things happen.
They look like a pretty solid match of players. You got the offensive minded guys, but the thing is, like, they play so differently. Like Levine is a 3-level scorer, but he can definitely emphasize on the 3, which is kind of what he's been doing off ball and a little bit like that. And DeMar is operating in the mid range and being like that facilitator out of those sets. And then you got Caruso and Lonzo who can make smart plays and can facilitate. Lonzo a little bit more on the facilitating, play defense. Caruso a little bit more on the defense. And then you bring Kobe White who can score and play on and off ball. You got Vooch who can when things are slowing things slowing down. If Zach don't got it going, DeMar don't got it going, or even if they just playing you a certain way, you can throw it down on the block and you can literally run the offense through Vooch. Like, he can pass, he can shoot, he can, like you said, post up. Like, he is a very good center, and he's not bad defensively. Not stout, but he's not bad defensively.
Yeah.
So like, I think for them, like, they're really good right now, and I think they're a contender. For them to be like the perfect team, in my opinion, for like their talent, I think that their 4 they need to get like a stout defensive 4 that can like stretch the floor. And I know those are not around per se all the time, I guess. Yeah. But
plus, granted, the person that probably would have developed into that for them will be back for a few more months.
Yeah.
That being Patrick Williams, which people want to trade him. Like, it's a side note, but people want him gone, and I don't know why. He's like 21.
He's young.
He could be really good, like, for them. I don't know why they want to like mess up that type of timeline.
They want to maximize. You have your young guys who you got. Zoe's young, Zach's young, and you got your vets with DeMar and Vooch. So like, if they're trying to get better, their assets are Patrick and Kobe. Honestly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense. Because he could get there, but like, if you could get somebody who's already there and maximize your window right now, because to me, their window is absolutely open. So, man,
as long as they're top 4, I feel like as long as they're top 4 in rankings, more or less, because the Bucks are like, the Bucks are still gonna be like obviously a tough outing once it's coming to playoff time because of all the experience.
I would say the one team that Bulls don't want to play is them. They have no answer for it. Honest, for Giannis, nor does anybody.
Giannis at the 4 is big, like
Giannis on the court. Giannis on the court. Where's the problem? And they don't have the person to guard him. Yeah, so that's the one team that probably should try. Shit, I don't know. Maybe the Heat will knock the Bucks out somehow. I mean, shit, they got the guys. They got the bodies for sure. They can get healthy.
Maybe the Nets will see him. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, hey, they was killing them before Kyrie got hurt.
That's too. Like Kyrie was giving. Kyrie was giving. I forgot who was guarding him.
Yeah, it was Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, and they couldn't do anything with them.
I say like try to be interchangeable and like I forgot what play it was. Like this dude Kyrie hit him with like a step back spin.
Yeah,
cup. I'm like, good lord.
Because he's like he's like that. I don't know, man. Shit is crazy. They were probably going to get them out of there in 5 or 6 if he didn't get hurt, honestly. But we'll see how it goes moving forward.
Yeah, would you add anything to put on this?
Bulls aren't a finals team yet. But
you just coming in here to be a party pooper, huh?
Wait, all right, look. They are much better than I expected. I'll give them that. Give
me my flowers. How about that?
Look, DeMar DeRozan is probably playing the best basketball of his career.
Definitely up there.
Yeah. Arguably, yeah. I think he's playing the best. Arguably, I think he's probably playing the best basketball of his career. They're definitely better than I expected, and I don't really like them either. But again, give the devil their due.
What's your beef with Chicago?
They play against the Celtics.
I've never been a fan of the Bulls. I'm a Celtics fan. I know Bulls fans.
He said ever since MJ gave him 63. I have never liked him.
I always liked MJ. I just didn't like. But look, but objectively, they're much better than I thought they were going to be. I thought it would take longer for them to gel and be this good, or be good enough. Anyway, but the fact that they're playing this well, I am surprised. Not completely, but I am a little surprised.
Hey, Billy deserves
DeMar's playing like an MVP.
Yeah.
And if the MVP were now, he'd be pretty close. Might be a hot take, but
he's definitely in the conversation.
He's definitely in the conversation.
It's definitely KD.
But again,
to
I don't think they're deep enough to be a finals team yet.
I don't know. They got a bench. I mean, when you bring back Lonzo and Caruso are going to be back. They're going to have that 3-headed monster with Lonzo, Caruso, and Kobe. Whoever starts, one of them's coming off the bench. They still got Derrick Jones.
That would make sense. Yeah.
And they still,
but they got Javante. They're serviceable.
Yeah, I mean, could they get another guy? Perhaps. I would love for them to get like a PJ Tucker. But he's not going to be available. But I can see that.
He played out of his mind for the Heat too. Like, I don't know what.
I can see that, Grims. But I mean, that's probably maybe that's something to do with why they were talking about shipping Patrick.
Yeah, they really want, like, I think their fans want them to get that more or less. That kind of like, at least defensively, is enough to like really like put fear in people.
Yeah.
I completely understand like you would want that type of like presence, but I mean, the way the team is constructed, I mean, your switching ability isn't gonna be like it's completely unlike they don't have like the inability to switch, and then just offensively like inside out game that like DeRozan and Levine have, you're not gonna be like out in the mud when it comes to games either, because like offensively you're still competing with them. So
no, offensively they have the ability to outscore teams, just straight up.
Because if there's games where like DeRozan and Levine are both having like 25 and 5 at halftime individually, like that's just something that like certain things you don't even need time for it to mesh. It's just like a bucket is a bucket.
It just works, man. Like it's their ability to shoot at the different levels. Like Zach LaVine's 3-point shooting, and DeMar's like playmaking and also like mid-range shooting ability. It worked well, and I think DeMar definitely kind of sharpened his like playmaking skills and just like versatility in San Antonio for sure. So I definitely think that helped him. But you just get two elite scorers that are able to shoot in some capacity, like even if it's from the mid range. I feel like it it works a lot of the time. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it should work. It should work. Sometimes it doesn't, but it should work when your two best players are able to shoot the ball. It's just like get some ball movement in there. If we both can pass, like we should be able to play off of each other, and it should be able to work. It should be able to be a dynamic duo type thing. And I know we've seen some struggles with like, I mean, to me, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown has worked. It's been rough the past couple seasons as far as like team success, but it's worked. We've seen it work. Kawhi and Paul George, I really think they just had that pecking order confused, honestly.
As far as like who's the guy?
Well, I don't even want to say like who's the guy, because Kawhi can still technically be like the closer, but you just got to run your offense through the guy who is more of like a rhythm player, because Kawhi is very mechanical, robotic about it. He gets to his spots. He doesn't really need a rhythm. He gets to that spot, and it's going to go in. Paul George needs his rhythm. So.
Yeah. But, and then they just like, kind of wrap this up a little bit real quick. The Trailblazers, who, I don't know, they're in a really weird state with their team as a whole. Lillard is really not having one of his better seasons, shooting wise specifically. So,
I think you're being a little too kind.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're a mess. They're a flaming mess.
Yeah, they're going to be in protocol. Cullen had a collapse along. There's really not. I mean, the only bright side that's coming out of this season is like Anthony Simons and
Simons.
Like they look like valuable like young assets if they were to blow it up. So,
which they should.
Absolutely should.
Which more or less like, I think it's pretty much a consensus that like Dame needs to be shipped out. To where is the question?
There's one place that he should go. We all know where. It's where he belongs. I know Grimps doesn't want to hear it, but it's literally the place that makes the most sense in the league. You're not even close.
It is.
Like, and you've seen it work. Elite perimeter player with an elite big man. I mean, he ain't 6'5", but he's elite perimeter talent, and he ain't Shaq, but he is Embiid. So I mean, get him to Philly. Like, you have the defensive players to cover up for his defensive deficiencies, and you get the elite shot making to pair with the elite big man. That's what works. And you get Ben Simmons as Trailblazers, and you build around Ben and see if he's really like that. And you rebuild. I mean, that's just that's the move. You're not going to get anybody better for Dame, in my opinion, right now. And we can talk about Ben. His whatever. But he played when he's healthy, he plays. He doesn't get hurt. So
yeah.
I think you need to move them both. Move CJ and Dame, and dive full in, because you can move CJ too. There's some teams that need that scoring punch. So
more or less, yeah.
Like CJ I guess with the Mavericks, would probably be nice. Defensively, it'd probably be atrocious, but
yeah.
They got defenders out there that can cover up for it. And Luka's not like a minus defender, because he got a big body and not terrible feet. So
going with the Spurs, low-key, doesn't seem like a bad idea, because they need a leader.
I mean that could work. He and maybe he could be the guy, and they could fight for the playoff spots. Him and DeJounte could be decent.
Yeah, him and DeJounte,
I just know that. I just think that they've maximized, man. And I don't think that Dame would say this, and I don't even think that this is like a conscious thing. But subconsciously, I just think he's burnt out. I really do. I think that he's maximized his time. I don't really think he doesn't believe anymore. That's what I truly believe. I don't think that he believes in this team and this organization that they can get to a championship anymore. In the years past, like, you could tell, even like the bubble years where he's like dropping 50 and 60s, like, if we're on the court, we got a shot to beat anybody. I no longer think he believes that, really. And I feel like it kind of shows in his play. Like, his play's just kind of been off this year. Like, I don't know. You don't go from, and I've seen some people like earlier before he started, like, he's definitely been playing better of late, but previously, like people were like saying, is he washed and shit like that. And, like you don't go from averaging like damn near 30 to being washed the next year. That shit just doesn't happen, especially for somebody whose game is like so predicated on like shooting and skill. You know what I mean? Like your shot just don't leave you like that, unless you've had I guess maybe an injury or some dramatic change like that. But nothing like that happened to my knowledge. I think he just needs to change the scenery, and it was a perfect fit. With Philly, it was a perfect fit in the offseason, and it's a perfect fit now. It just depends on if they're gonna pull the trigger.
I agree. I think the way Dame's playing, I think it's obvious he's it's done.
Yeah,
he knows it. He knows it.
It's more like a mental checkout rather than like the verbal agreement. Which I mean, obviously, like his pride is on the line when it comes to that stuff. So he's not gonna just verbally say like, you know what, I'm giving up on the organization. But shooting stretches like how he's had, and then at first like it might have been like rule changes or whatever, and then like now as time goes on, it's like, well, he's adjusted. It's just team as a whole isn't what it used to be for him.
Yeah.
But I think that might wrap us up for this week. Interesting. just this is a reminder to the people. At some point, I need to like post a clip of like this like thing being set up because like this is gonna be funny.
Oh, I'm gonna hear from Tug.
You gonna hear from everybody.
Maybe.
But
hey, listen.
Once again, follow us on social media, the podcast at Go for 3 Pod. By the way, I need people to actually follow. Okay, I know people listen to these, even if you're not a Twitter person. Eventually, the Instagram will be up and yeah, your platform. But until then, follow us on the Twitter, man. Like, really, get us to 20. Can we get to 20 followers by the end of January? That's what.
Yeah, come on. I mean, yeah, come on.
and
we know enough people.
And for the remainder of this month, I'm going to keep hammering this home until we end up at 20. If we don't get 20, then I don't know. Like I might just quit. So no, I'm just kidding. But
we coming for y'all if we don't get to 20. You know who
exactly. We're coming for heads. You know exactly where this direction is going. But fellas, your socials, man.
At Tony the Real on Twitter. That's it.
At Chris D. Collins on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can follow me at PTP_99. We gratefully appreciate you guys for listening to this week's episode, and we will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Stay blessed.